I want to bring on Melissa Engle right now, licensed professional counselor. Melissa, good morning.
Good morning.
The title here is Americans are suffering from crisis fatigue. You think?
Yes, sir. I know so.
I mean, we started with coronavirus, then we had the lockdowns, then George Floyd, the protests, riots, looting, toppling of historical statues, the constant fighting, politically speaking. I mean, how do we get through this?
Well, we need to kind of understand what goes on with us when we have ongoing stress like this. And what happens is we are a culture of, we're kind of driven by distraction. We look for the next shiny thing to make us feel good. And so in the process of living in that way, we tend to suppress and push down a lot of painful, unpleasant experiences and feelings that we've had in the past. And what happens when we have national crises like this is when a lot of stuff has been pushed down that has a lot of pain, and you start getting anxious and worried, a lot of old wounds can open up. And so people are not just dealing with the crisis of today, but they're dealing with the crisis of today plus anything else from their past that they have not dealt with. And so we're seeing a tremendous rise. And this is normal. This is what I've seen. I've been doing this for 30 years now, so I lived through 9/11 with this. This is what happened. There's going to be a tremendous uprising in depression, anxiety, PTSD symptoms, addictions, whether it's drugs or alcohol, shopping, spending, gambling, pornography. You're going to see a lot of people acting out their stress as a way to try to distract from it. And so you'll see a rise in mental health symptoms that just go right along with these kinds of situations.
Yeah, but yet you don't see anybody or hear anybody talking about that, Melissa. All you hear about is, we gotta shut this down, or we gotta distance. And the mental part of this has just been kind of kicked to the curb, hasn't it?
Well, if you want my opinion, the mental part of stuff gets kicked to the curb most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's not new for me. So yes, I agree with you. We don't put a lot of time and energy into this until there's a crisis, and our hospitals are filling up. I mean, our mental health facilities. Healing Springs Ranch is an addiction facility. I mean, we're getting tons and tons of calls by stressed out and distressed people.
What about, okay, so one thing that's worked for me a little bit, and because I do this for a living, I mean, I've got to constantly absorb all of the chaos that's going on in this world. I've started tuning out. You know, I don't read as much. I don't watch as much TV as far as news. I've just sort of, because if you watch the news, it's the end of the world every damn day. And I'm getting a little tired of it. So I have tried to limit my exposure to all the negativity out there media-wise.
That's very good advice. And that's what I tell people too. Turn off the TV, take a break from it, because it keeps your fight or flight response inside of yourself keyed up all the time. And when your adrenaline and your cortisol and all these stress hormones are constantly engaged, it not only mentally fatigues you, but it physically fatigues you. It's not good for our immune system, which makes it even worse, our digestive system. We can't think straight. So I would tell people they've got to start being more reflective and paying attention to themselves and paying attention to their bodies. And if they start noticing themselves feeling anxious, or they're overreacting to situations, or they start feeling tension in their body, this is when you need to really slow down. And I know it sounds so simple, but do really deep breathing, close your eyes, get away from stuff for just a minute. You've got to learn to read your body, and when your body and your mind is getting stressed out, you need to do something to calm it down.
Yeah, the exercise, anything, whatever works for you, just try to figure out what it is, right?
As long as it's healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you don't want to go turn into an alcoholic or, be hitting the crack pipe. We don't want to do that, right, Melissa?
Seriously.
All right, Melissa Caldwell Engle, thank you so much for the advice, Melissa.
Thank you.
All right. She's a licensed professional counselor.